This is J. Krishnamurti's 11th discussion with teachers and students at Brockwood Park, 1975.
What should we talk about?
I wonder if it would be of value to consider the interest that brought us here in the first place at Brockwood, and whether that interest has been not nurtured in the right way, or whether it has been nurtured.
I can't hear, sir. Sorry, this is a poor.
I wondered whether we could consider the interest that has brought us to Brockwood, and whether it has been nurtured in the right way or not.
What do you say? Some of you would perhaps come to what Mr. Khan talks about, ask the question. Some of you were at the 4 dialogues we had with the scientists. I wonder if the rest of you would like to know what we discussed. Would you? Huh? Why weren't you there? If you're interested. Would you like to know? Because they were very serious people. One was a Nobel Prize winner, and the biologists and so on, so-called eminent scientists, some of them. Or would you like to ask some other question? Talk about something else?
There are a number of questions, but I don't know which one to start with. First of all, with regard to the scientist question, I wonder why is that when we discuss here, we can't go that intense. Once I follow the...
Why can't we be intense, you mean?
Yes. I mean, one of the Saturday discussions.
To be intense about something, Tunki, you must really be interested in it. You want to know, you want to learn, or you want to find out. And do you want to discuss something that you want to get to the heart of the matter? What shall we talk about? What Mr. Khan suggested? If you're going to be silent, I'm going to be silent. All right.
Well, it seems both the questions relate to each other.
We pardon?
It seems that both the questions related to each other.
I'll put the question. I'm asking you, put me questions. I'm very good at being quiet, so it's up to you. We're going to try it out.
A lot of people did listen to the science conference, so it would be valuable if we did hear about it. A lot of people did listen to the science conference, so it would be very valuable if we could hear about it.
Do you want to know something about it?
Yes.
Dr. Baum and I, we have a dialogue every Saturday afternoon upstairs. And during the course of the conversation, we said that knowledge has not changed man. knowledge in the world of science, biology, in the knowledge of human behavior. They have studied human behavior very, very much, from the apes to ordinary human beings. They have collected a great deal of information about monetary questions, social behavior, collective behavior, man's relationship to society. They have collected such vast information called knowledge. Not theoretical knowledge, but actual knowledge. And knowledge doesn't seem to change man. Right? So the question arose, what will? You understand? If knowledge doesn't change man, then what will change man? That is the problem which we discussed during the 4 mornings and afternoons with the scientists. What will change man? Now you tell me, if you are serious, discuss it, what do you think will change man? Man, woman, human being. What do you think? You are the scientists. You understand? You are some of the people who are sitting around that table discussing. What will change you? Because you are the man or the woman.
No, first of all, I'd ask what you meant by change.
Big one?
I'd ask what you meant by change first.
Now, you see, that's good. Now, what do you mean by the word change? Transform. Is it a change? Listen carefully. Is it a change if you know what you are going to change into? You understand my question? If I know what I should change into or transform myself into that, is that a change?
Would we even consider this question unless we have not first, in some ways, seen the value of man changing?
No, we went into that. Knowledge, I'm coming back to that. Knowledge has certainly changed environment. Before we never had electricity, now we have. Before we went by bullock carts, now or horseback, now we have steam, locomotives, engines, jets. Before we never had sanitation, proper sanitation, now we have. We have never before could talk to a man across 5,000 miles. Now we can. And you can travel around the world in a few hours, which never could have been done before. All this, surgery, health, and so on, all this has been brought about through knowledge. Right? Right? But that knowledge has not changed man. Now, he asked me, Bottom asked me, what will change man? What do you mean by the word change? To that I said, if you know what you are going to change into, is that change? If I plan out a revolution, very carefully, economic revolution or social revolution, is that a revolution or merely transforming this into that? Is that true? You understand what I'm talking about? Look, I am greedy. And I want to change myself into non-greed. Is the non-greed different from greed? Or the opposites, you understand? Greed and non-greed, violence and non-violence, or the opposites. Are they different? Is non-violence different from violence? Now, discuss it with me. Dialogue. You're the scientist.
You're saying that if you know what you are going to change into, it's not a change. But
I'm asking. I don't say it is not. I want you to think it out. I am violent. And I say to myself, I must be non-violent. Right? The opposite. What makes me say that?
Because I don't like the effect of being violent.
What?
I don't like the effect of being violent.
I don't like the effect of violence. It hurts others, it hurts me. Therefore, I cultivate something which I call non-violent. Right? But the quality of non-violence, has it not got the same quality as violence?
What is the quality of non-violence?
I don't know, but I'm just go slowly. Or the opposites, you understand? One opposite, hasn't it its root in its own opposite? Think it out, you're the scientist. As Dr. Birchray pointed out, if I know what I have to change into, right? What happens? Come on. No, not a goal only. You don't observe it in yourself. You go on, work at it.
Perhaps it could become the same thing, and then we want to change again.
Not quite, madam, not quite. All right. One thing.
With the question, you mean, Dr. Puchiros asked, if I know what is going to be changed into?
If I already know what I'm going to change into, what's the matter with all of you?
That's not the change. It's like, I know I go from here to London or going somewhere else.
If I know something into which I've changed, I've already known it. It's not a change.
It's a perpetuation of the same thing.
Perpetuation of the same thing in a different form. What? It takes you a long time to find this out, doesn't it? See, the communist revolution, you have heard of the communist revolution? Based on Marx, all his ideas, and Lenin wanted to carry that out in Germany first, because it's the most industrialized nation at that time in the world. And he planned from what Marx said, a revolution which happened to take place in Russia. The Kaiser sent him by a train into Russia to destroy the enemy. So, when he planned according to a pattern, is that a revolution? Right? So, a change implies something that I have not projected and tried to capture it. Do you see that? Oh, come on.
Did the scientists see it, or were they
You are the scientist. Don't bother about the scientist. You're the scientist now.
Well, we do talk about change as if, in the other sense of changing to something that we already know.
No, of course.
So there is that kind of change as well.
There is that kind of change, as he points out. Something I already know. I move from here to there. I move from Bramdean to Winchester and live in Winchester. You follow? So, we said to the scientists, if knowledge does not bring about a transformation of man basically at the very root of his being, then what will? Right? Have you understood this? So we talked about it.
The urge to change will make him project.
The urge to change makes the mind project a pattern into which it wants to, which will accept it. Because I desire to be something, and that being is projected from what I am now as a reaction. Right? You got it? Now, so what will transform man?
Is there a difference between transform and change?
No, I'm using the same word. What do you think will transform man? You. You are lazy. You are casual, slack, thinking about yourself all day long. Right? Wanting something, not wanting something, trying to be beautiful, not beautiful, showing yourself off, your body, your mind, and so on, so on, so on. What will make you change, transform all that? If you want to.
Excuse me. Knowing that we cannot use the domain of what we know. And this question always keeps me back to search in the domain of what we know.
I think I haven't understood.
If I ask myself what will change my...
What will change you? Knowing change means something totally different from what you think you ought to be, or from what you are.
The trouble is that I start searching in the thing which I know. I mean, it seems that the mind tends to work automatically and searching in the domain of the known. And the only thing which I can do is to drop all that. I mean...
Right, so will anything that we suggest be of any value?
I haven't understood what you're talking about.
Are you saying that if you change, not if you change, but that you have no control over this deeper sense of change?
Now let me put it the same thing in a different way. I function in one pattern, right? Is that clear? Now, a new problem arises, and I try to translate that problem in terms of my pattern. If that pattern doesn't suit, hasn't the proper answer to that problem, I create another pattern, hoping that it will solve it. I wonder if you understand this. So we move from pattern to pattern. When this pattern doesn't solve it, I will go back to my old pattern or create a new pattern. Which Ted pointed out at that discussion with the scientists, that we're always functioning in patterns. When one is not suitable, we revert to another pattern or go back to an old one. So we are never free from patterns, which is mechanical thinking. Right? Do you see this?
Before this first question of what we change in man, does one feel the need to change?
Of course, I said that. I said, unless you have the urge to change, unless there is a desire, strong, you see the absurdity of way of living like this, and there is an intense interest in bringing about a change. That's granted. Otherwise, you just play around, right? So I'm asking you, if patterns will not change man, if you have understood this, what will? Patterns being knowledge. All right. You're born in America or in England or in Germany or in Holland. Another is born in India. They have been conditioned, you understand, as Christians, Hindus, and so on. Being conditioned means to live in a pattern, in a tradition. And when that pattern doesn't answer, one pattern doesn't answer, you move to another pattern. You either become a Hindu, Buddhist, or a Christian Scientist, and a lover of Jesus, or whatever it is. You understand? You move according to one pattern after another. But your mind is still conditioned. Right? So what will bring about the unconditioning of man? I'm putting the same problem differently.
There's a point I'm not quite clear on. Referring to what Dr. Pritchard said. Assuming we are in the...
I don't assume anything.
We're in a conditioned state.
Aren't you?
Yes.
Now wait. No, don't say yes too quickly. Are you aware that you are conditioned? This is one of the things we discuss very seriously. Are you aware that you are conditioned? I live in Hollywood. Suppose I do, I don't, thank God. Suppose I live in Hollywood, or in that part of the world where anything goes. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? I live in a part of the world where physical enjoyment, physical sensation, physical entertainment, a superficial life is the way of living. You understand? I'm conditioned to that because I've lived there, I've been brought up there. And somebody comes along and says, don't live like that, it's so childish, so immature, so vulgar. It has no meaning. And he says, break down that conditioning. You understand? How am I to do it?
It seems you first have to see what you were and the conditioning that you have.
So we discussed, what does it mean to be aware? Right? You understand? What one of the scientists there said, what do you mean by that word? You talk about a great deal about awareness, what do you mean by it? And so, what does it mean to you to be aware?
To notice the constant repetition of thoughts.
No, I said, listen carefully, sir. I said, be aware. To be aware, what does it mean?
Normally we think it's to be conscious of.
To be aware, to be conscious of. Right? Are you conscious of this room? Aware of this room? Are you? Huh? Come on, answer. I mean, are you aware of the roof? How nice it is? Have you ever looked at it? Have you watched the color of the walls? Have you seen the curtains? How beautiful. Are you aware of all this? And the view outside? Are you aware what Philip is wearing? Or what I am wearing, what somebody is wearing? When you are aware of what somebody is wearing, what is your reaction? Do you like it or you don't like it?
What should you have a reaction to?
To be aware of the reaction. You may not have any reaction. But if you have a reaction, are you aware of that reaction? I don't like that brown. Sorry, I'm not. Don't change it, your shirt today. I don't like brown. I am aware of it, but I don't like it. That's my reaction to it.
But you do like her.
I like that green. I don't like that blue. I like what? The reaction. So, being aware implies, please listen, not only of the external colors and my reaction to those colors. That's beginning, right? As part of that awareness. And by watching myself, by being aware, I see it's much deeper than that. I choose. I prefer this color against that color. Or I prefer you against him. So there is a choice. You are following this? So I am aware of the room. Please listen, do it, as I am talking. Aware of the room, the size of the room, the beauty or the ugliness of the room, the color of the walls, the structure of the roof, how very well it's made, though there are certain gaps in it. I'm very well aware of all the colors around me, Follow all this. Do it, do it. I'm aware of all the colors around me, the people's faces, how they sit, whether they sit straight or slack. And I'm also aware I like that and I don't like that. She is vulgar and he is not vulgar. Vulgar being common, doing what everybody does. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm explaining what that word means. Vulgar, common. So I'm aware of all this. Are you? I'm aware of the room, the color, the curtains, the beauty of the curtains, the pattern on the curtains, and the color of the walls, the roof, the people sitting around me, their shirts, their skirts, their jerseys, whatever they are wearing, their color, their faces, their attitude, their way they sit. And I say, in being aware, I also choose. I say, this is not nice. This is nice. I wish it were different. I wish it was that. So,
to be aware of everything. But then what are the things that you choose to choose? In a sense, is it that one has an opinion on everything, or is it that only the things that, for their particular conditioning, they...
I choose according to my conditioning. So I'm aware, follow this, not only the walls, the roof, the floor, the people around me, but my reaction which reveals my conditioning. Are you following this? If I'm an American or a Hindu, I react according to my condition. So, then from that outward awareness, I move inwardly, right? I say, boy, I am conditioned. What does it mean? You follow? By watching the outer, I have begun to learn to watch the inner. Got it? Have you got it, Philip? So, are you doing it? Don't just listen to words, but do it.
For me, it begins to, anytime I find that I have an opinion on something, I find that I don't trust that opinion. I feel it's pointless, it's no value.
Wait, I am aware of the walls, the roof, the people, colors and so on. I am aware that I have opinions. And from opinions I judge. Those opinions are formed by my culture, education, by my prejudice and so on, so on, so on. So am I aware of my prejudice, my opinion? You follow? From the outer, I come inner. Got it?
So therefore you begin inquiring into yourself.
I'm coming to that.
Now, just let me put it...
Go on.
If you take a...
Slowly, piano.
If you take a blind person and can't hear, can't see, and all this, how does this have any relation to how
I'll show
the
you.
is going?
I used to know a friend who was blind. He was not only blind, he couldn't talk. Slow paralysis gone, that is matter. So I said to myself, what does it feel like to be blind? I want to test it. So I put a bandage on my eyes. For a fortnight I did it. You follow? Just to see what it feels like to be blind. Couldn't see anything. My hearing sharpened. And I became much more sensitive to things. You understand? When the chair was there, when I came near it, I could feel there was something in front of me. So, by becoming aware, you become very sensitive. You follow? Sensitive to all this, what is happening out there, and what is happening inward.
But didn't this awareness of sensitivity come about out of
Go on, take time. Don't rush. Put it in words.
When you saw danger and you had your eyes closed, didn't that sensitivity develop to protect your body?
Of course. So you see, to protect your body and sensitivity to find out what it is you are protecting in your mind. Opinion, belief, conclusion, your personal vanity, you follow? So you become, awareness implies conscious of things around you and inside you, and the choice, this is right, this is wrong, according to your conditioning, all the rest of it. And then you realize that you are functioning mechanically.
The process that you just described, or that you are functioning?
That you are functioning mechanically.
Now, this process that you just described, do you do that in words, or
What?
I like this, I don't like
But you do. You say, when you are talking to a friend, you say, well, I don't like color. Or you say it, or you may not say it loudly, you say, well, that's ugly.
But is that
That's vulgar.
Is that in real awareness? Is that
That's part of it. I said that's part of it. I told you, go step by step. First the outer, then step by step in the inner, being aware how you choose, what you choose, why you think this way, why you act that way, behave, you follow? All that is a pattern of awareness, part of awareness.
Yes, but this analysis that you were doing you doing it in words? In actual words inside?
Yes, natural words inside you, or you become aware of your reaction. Say, I see that color and that shirt. I look at it and say, I don't quite like it. I said, well, it's not very nice.
But then what you just said, I don't quite like it, is thought, which is functioning.
That's it. So follow it up, Nelson, follow it up.
Sometimes it's not in words. Sometimes you smell something and your nose wrinkles up.
Wrinkles up, that's right.
Instead of thinking in words, I don't like
So
it.
there is never, you express it in words or non-verbally, but there is that reaction going on all the time. Be aware of all this. I won't complicate it because it's quite complex.
Is there a difference between awareness and consciousness?
You've understood that question? Is there a difference between awareness and consciousness? Is this too difficult?
This is a new word she's introduced, consciousness, so I don't understand.
I understand. I'll take. We're going to examine the meaning of that word, to be conscious of. When are you conscious of something? Conscious. To be aware, to cognosco, isn't it, come from the word nosco, which is to know. Conscious. Now, when you drink something very hot and it burns you inside, you're conscious of it. When somebody slaps you, you're conscious of it.
Yeah, when it's something always unpleasant, you're always conscious.
Yes, something, all right.
It's also the pleasant.
Pleasant.
Unpleasant also.
Unpleasant, pleasant.
It's the same.
Now, to be conscious of that. I'm conscious of Harsha sitting there with a green shirt. I'm conscious of it. Now wait a minute, go slowly. My consciousness, I was born in India, educated in Europe, France, Italy, I've been to America. I've traveled a great deal. My consciousness is filled with a lot of things, aren't they? Right? I like America, I don't like America, I like Switzerland, I like, you follow? Or that's my house, that's my wife, I'm very proud, I have lots of opinions, lots of knowledge, I want to show myself off. I'm vain, I'm hurt.
All that's based on memories.
Wait, slowly. That is the content of my consciousness, isn't it? No? Shakuntala, yeah, that's right, that's her name, asked me, what is the difference between awareness and consciousness?
Awareness and acting, as we were talking about time, is it an act of the now?
No, there is no now. Don't say now and just look at it. First, look at it. Awareness and consciousness. What does it mean? Is there a difference between the two? Consciousness being that which has happened in my life, in your life, the memory of it, the hurts, the attachments, my house, my wife, my opinion, my judgment, I am much better than you, I am more beautiful than you, I have had this knowledge, I am very good at math. You follow? My attachments, my detachments, all that is the content of my consciousness. Right? Oh my. Huh? Philip, do you see that? Nelson? Now, is there a difference between the content and consciousness? No, just look at it first, before you answer me, just look. I'm a Hindu, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Protestant, this is my house, I am a British, I'm a Frenchman, I am an American, my tastes are different, I am much better taste than yours, I have suffered, I have great many hurts, I am greedy. So that is the content of my consciousness. Is the content different from the vessel it contains?
I wonder whether there is such a content, but one thing I notice is that what reacts out is only part of it, which I'm conscious of.
No, to keep. I'm asking you. I want to put it differently.
So can I ask a question?
Huh?
If I'm looking at the tree.
No, that's not my question. Please listen to my question, not the tree. Or is your content, the content of your consciousness, is different, is it?
Seems they're different, yes.
From your consciousness?
Yes.
Why do you say yes?
Seems the content is a comment on the awareness.
You're going off something. No, wait, sir, go slowly. You may be right, but All right, let me put, I am attached to this house. My attachment to this house, my wife, to the furniture, is the content. And my consciousness contains this content. If there is no content, is there a consciousness as we know it now? If I am not the house, if I am not the furniture, if I am not the book, if I am not the face, if I am not the body, you understand? It's not I have no vanity and so on. If I am nothing, which is nothing in consciousness, is there a consciousness as we know it? This is too difficult for you.
There's a sense of presence.
What?
And then there's only a sense of presence.
Only?
A sense of presence.
Presence.
Sense of presence.
Of being present.
Present. Are you guessing this?
No, it's...
Don't be careful, Don't guess, don't say this casually, because this is a very serious thing what you're talking about.
The person will still be conscious of these things, may not be attached.
You are moving on to something which I'm not, I don't want you to move yet. We'll come to that.
You also saying that there would be no consciousness of no content.
Of no?
If there were no content, we wouldn't be able to say, I'm conscious that there's
That's
no
all. That's all.
But first of all, I've got to really say that I'm not the house.
I never said anything more than what I have said. I am saying my content, the content of my consciousness is the house to which I am attached. Right? I am attached, you are attached to that dress. So, the content of your consciousness is that dress. The value you give to that dress. Right? It's too much for you.
As you said before, when I'm not this and not that and not that,
then what are you?
then there's only this sense of presence.
Okay, if you are not this, that, then what are you?
There's only this sense of presence, which is...
You see, you are inventing. If I am not the body, the organ, I am not the color of the hair, I am not the house, I am not the all the things I've gathered as memory, I am not all that. Or am I all that?
If you say, I'm not all that, can you say that you're yourself?
Are you all that first?
Yes.
Huh? All right. You mean you are the shirt?
Not literally.
No.
But everybody's attached with...
So, wait, it's very difficult. Wait, everybody is attached to something. Therefore, that something to which they are attached is the content in your consciousness. Got it? I'm attached to my name. That's my content. I'm attached to something. Got it? Right. So, the question is there a difference between awareness and consciousness? I said the content of my consciousness is the consciousness. From that consciousness, I am aware. I am aware of the color. I am aware of the room from the content. Because I say that's a wall. I like that color. Those are beautiful curtains. Because the contents has been educated to appreciate a particular color. You understand? So, the educated consciousness, as yours, with its content, becomes aware of all this. And the content says, no, I don't like that. Oh, I like that. Oh, that woman is terrible. She's vulgar. She wants to show herself off. Or she makes up to men or boys. She's always thinking about herself. It's all born out of the content of my consciousness. So awareness is a movement of my consciousness in action or in no action. All right?
Awareness is the awareness of the content of your consciousness.
I didn't say that.
I know you did, that changed it.
I said the content of my consciousness is aware.
But isn't there an awareness?
It is being educated. If I was born in Africa, my content, the content of that consciousness, would use that carpet to blow its nose on. Because I suppose there's a piece of cloth and my nose is sticky, I blow on it. But my consciousness, which has been educated, says that's a beautiful curtain, don't spoil it. So, the content of my consciousness dictates what action should take place. And the content of my consciousness, which is attachment, says I am attached to him. Am I aware of that attachment? See the difference? Am I aware of that attachment? Then the consciousness says, yes, I am aware, I like it. It's all right. And when he turns away from me, I get angry, jealousy. Am I aware of that jealousy? And so on. Do you see this? Huh? So, this is the pattern of our behavior. Do you understand? Moving from one conditioned mind, conditioned activity, becoming aware of that, aware of my conditioning, and become aware, still I'm using aware, the content of my consciousness. So, I am always moving within that area. Got it? And I say I change when I move from one corner to the other corner in the same area. Have you understood? Yeah, you see, it's like having a property, piece of land. And I think I change a great deal if I go from one corner to the other land. So, from that, the scientists discussed, part of, I can't go into all of that because I've forgotten most of it. We said this movement from going one pattern, one corner, one set of conditioning to other, is a movement in time. Isn't it? This movement is made by thought. So thought moving always within that dimension is mechanical. So thought is always mechanical. Whether it thinks it moves outside that area or within that area. Have you got it? It thinks it goes outside, which is God, which is great, this. It is still the movement of thought in time. Have you understood a little bit of it? So the final question was, can time have a stop? Because if I'm always moving and moving and moving in the same circle, in the same field, there is no freedom, is there? I think there is, I'm free because I keep on moving. So, we said, I asked the scientists, had this movement within the area of consciousness is mechanical thought. Thought has created this area. Thought says, I will move from this to that, and from there to that, and from there to this. In that area, there is no possibility of change. Have you got this little bit? Have you understood this? And we ask, can this movement stop? If it cannot, it will be a mechanical process. Understood? So what does it mean for time to have a stop? Come on, sir, think it out. You know, there are two kinds of time. One by the watch, sun setting, sun rising, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Right? Yesterday, all the things that happened. I remember the things that happened. And that memory operating in the present projects itself into the future. Have you got this? No. So time is by the clock, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Time is also this remembrance of something that happened yesterday, going through the present, modified the future. You can't stop the sun rising and setting. You might like to, but you can't. If you struggle against the sun, saying you must not rise or must not set, you are neurotic. So, you cannot stop that kind of time. But can there be a stoppage to this past, present, the future, this movement? I will be. I am going to be a great man. Or I am a great man.
as you talk to us, if we were to play back the tape or even read one of your, those transcripts of your talks, it's obvious that you deliver sentences which are good English construction. They have subject, object, verb, and they are strung out in time. And so that when you begin talking to us, when you begin one sentence, in some sense it's obvious upon looking back that the entire thought, if that's a good word or not, the meaning in that sentence, you know pretty much what the end of that sentence must be when you begin it. So I'm just asking you, does the meaning of that question come to you quickly?
That's right.
Totally formed?
Totally formed.
Or do you
totally
form it as you go along?
No. That's why what we talked about insight. Perception, he and I talking, because you may not understand this. Perception is instantaneous. That instantaneous perception takes place when there is no perceiver. The perceiver is time. As he is the past, he is the remembrance, he is the memory, he is knowledge and so on. Perception is timeless. Right? So, you see something instantly. And the action of that may take a little time. But perception is time, is timeless.
You mean that the action of that may take a little time?
I see something. What? I see, all right, I see the snake first of all. Perception. The move away from it takes 2 seconds. The perception was instantaneous, but the moving away from it takes time.
Just the carrying out of the action.
That's it. Therefore, what does it mean? Perception is only possible when the perceiver is the perceived and realizes that there is only perception. Huh?
That means
got it? Wait. Look. Slowly. I think I've got it. I perceive that I am envious. You are much nicer looking than I am. I compare myself to you, and thereby I become envious. Just a minute. Now, I say I am envious. Is envy different from me, who is the perceiver? Right? Or are they both the same? Perceiver is the perceived. That is, the perceiver is greedy himself, is greed itself. In that perception that greed is the perceiver, that is timeless.
Does the action of that perception take some time to work out?
Because I have to arrange my life because according to that perception.
Well, I'm asking, could it be, you've seen that as a perception, it's totally clear. Could it be possible, though, in a day or a week, that you could, that pattern is still working?
No, when I perceive greed, and the perceiver is not different from the perceived, therefore there is only perception of greed, perception, not the perceiver, perception. At that moment, greed comes to an end. Wait a minute. I perceive as the head of some movement that to be head of that movement is wrong. I perceive that, right? I see it not right. And it will take time to convey it to you, won't it? I have to write a letter if you are in America or India. But the perception is instantaneous, and the carrying it out as in organization means I have to tell you about it. I have to write letters, or I have to make a speech about it.
Greed has to be seen again and again and again and again and again.
What?
The greed
Never.
to be seen again and again.
Oh, no. Once you see greed, it's over. When once you see, listen to this, when once you see the snake as a cobra, as a viper, or a rattler, it's finished. It's always a rattler. You don't say, well, by Jove, I'm going to play with it. It is because we don't see the totality of greed, the whole structure of greed, instantly. That's why it keeps on repeating. As we talked about the other day, do you remember? Why does certain thoughts keep on repeating? Because you haven't finished with it. If you have finished with it, it doesn't come back. In the same way, if you see the totality of greed, perceive it completely, immediately, then it's finished. You never go back to it. Say, for instance, I perceive that I'm vulgar, common, mediocre, with all the meanings of that word. It's vulgar to behave in a certain way. Not because somebody tells me it's vulgar. It is vulgar. I belong, like everybody is doing it. Not it's right or wrong, it's vulgar. I perceive that. I mean by perceiving, I see I'm vulgar, and I see vulgarity is not different from me, right? And I see the whole pattern of vulgarity instantly. The way I behave, the way I talk, the way I show myself off, the way I walk, the way I act. I see instantly the whole pattern of vulgarity. And when I do, it's finished.
So the perception gets clouded by habits or conditions.
I said so. When I see I'm vulgar, then the entity who thinks he is not vulgar then says, why shouldn't I be vulgar? What's wrong with it? Why shouldn't It's a habit. It is my culture in which I live, and so on and so on. But when I said the observer is the observed. When the realization of that takes place, it can only take place when I see the totality of vulgarity. Seeking power, seeking position, wanting to be somebody. For all that is vulgar. When I see the whole of that, it's ended completely.
And that means that you will never be vulgar again.
I hope
you're finished with it altogether.
God, when you see the snake, it's finished, right? And unless, of course, it's dead and you want to look at it. Unless it's a harmless snake. But if it is something dangerous, like a tiger, like a cobra, like some of these ferocious animals and human beings, when you see that, totally, then you never touch it.
Now, once you have seen the totality of greed, what about fear and jealousy?
That's all implied in it. That's just it. If you look to Nelson, if you look at greed, what's implied? Look at it carefully. Comparison. Imitation. Right? Are you following this? Comparison, imitation, and competition, measurement. Why are we doing all this? Because if you didn't compare, you might be lost. Fear. So one clear perception, a clear perception of greed shows the whole thing.
The fact is I don't see clearly, and
What?
the fact is I don't see clearly. You said if I see clearly, everything will drop down. But the fact is, I don't see clearly.
Oh, well, if you don't see it clearly, you keep on repeating it. One day you see it clearly, and one day you think you see it clearly, and then third day you find that you're still greedy. And you pick it up again. So, listen to me, is perception gradual, little by little? Or is it final? Well, that's it. So the question we talked about is thought is mechanical. And a mechanical thing has its own energy. Now, is there an energy totally different from the mechanical energy? So you see, man realizes that his thought is mechanical. If you are aware, if you realize the content of your consciousness is mechanical, then man says, if that is mechanical, God must be non-mechanical. So he invents a God which is non-mechanical and hopes thereby he will become non-mechanical. But thought, which is mechanical, has invented God. You follow this? So he's caught again in the same pattern. So is there an ending to the movement of thought as time? This is what we discussed.
What is the outcome of it?
So somebody said, what is the evidence that thought can come to an end? Show me the evidence. So somebody said, you've heard of Bertrand Russell? Bertrand Russell goes to heaven. He's dead. He goes to heaven, and there is God. And so Bertrand Russell says to God, why didn't you give me evidence of your existence? You understand that? That's meant to be a joke. So you have to find out, please listen, you have to find out whether this movement from pattern to pattern, from one corner to another corner, from one belief to another belief, from one desire to another contradictory desire, from one vulgarity to another vulgarity, this movement, which is mechanical, can that movement, which is time, can that have an end? And Thunkiyo said, somebody said, Nelson says, then what? Find out. That means you have got to give attention to it. You've got to find out what it means. Probably you're not interested in that. You want a slack, lazy, easygoing life. Which is what everybody wants.
But it won't be easy because so long you don't, I mean, you're still in contradiction, so it will be just an imaginative easiness.
What do you mean you're still in contradiction?
You said you will an easy time, and everybody wants that.
No?
You said in a direct sentence, that's what you want, an easy time. But you won't have that easy time as you are on this movement of time. As you
Okay, I haven't understood what you're saying. Sorry.
I think to be saying that if you are looking for an easy time, it doesn't turn out easy.
Of course not.
Contradictions.
Yes.
Of course. You want an easy life, a vulgar life, a common life, a life which everybody has, and you say, my God, I can't have it. So there's contradiction.
When we look at the material world, we often have to make arrangements in it. We have to paint the walls and things like that. Now, often we know that our choices in that are conditioned. The choice of the color of the walls.
And the money.
These are all
workmanship
and all conditioned. Now, if we're not working on conditioning, if conditioning is not a part of our life, how do we, I don't want to use the word choose, but how do we make arrangements in the material world if it's not on
And that's very simple, sir. I simple in the sense. Verbally, it can be put simply. If your mind is not conditioned, what takes place? First, what happens? The conditioned mind is contradictory mind, a neurotic mind, not a healthy mind. So, it's not an intelligent mind. If the mind is unconditioned, it is supremely intelligent, right? Logically, verbally even. So, that intelligence operates in maneuvering or in changing things in the outward world. Because we haven't got that intelligence, we are making a mess of things.
In that is the implication that there might be a certain indisputable, non-cultural way to put things in order.
No, I need knowledge to put things in order. Not in the sense, I need good taste to paint, have good color on that wall.
Conditioning.
That is, not conditioning. To put a red wall would be absurd here.
Well, would it?
Huh?
Would it, or is that?
And then try it. Don't try it here.
No, I mean, I'm not. In a sense, that's something we are all involved in.
Would a red wall be all right here?
You're saying there's quality.
Huh?
you're saying that there's quality, which is again measurement.
Yes, yes.
Isn't this an example? An instance where intelligence can operate through thought, which in this case might be knowledge of the qualities of taste, if you want, or aesthetics, really, to make a choice.
So don't put the question that way. First, find out, live or go into it, see if time, all that we discuss, has an end, and see what your mind is like. See if you can empty the content of your consciousness. We went through all that, so we don't now. And see what happens. And what happens, can it operate in this world? A hypothetical question has no real answer. Also, one of them, before he left, asked, why is the mind always restless? Is there no quietness even for a minute? Do you understand? Have you got a mind that's restless, chattering, moving from one thing to another? Swimming pool, badminton, my dress, oh, he's looking at me, what shall I do? I have a problem, I don't like this, I don't like that. No, ooh, chattering. Do you know that? Don't you? And can it ever stop? If it cannot stop, then you are, You understand? Then what happens? The mind gets so weary, and then to escape from that weariness, you do something idiotic. And then caught up in that idiocy, with its action, and it becomes worse and worse. You follow? So find out if your thought can stop for a while. Not force it. Then that is not stopping it. So find out. Which means, first, become aware that your mind is chattering. Aware. Don't condemn it. Don't say, why, I must stop chattering, but just be aware of it. And then is that chattering different from the person who is watching it? My mind is chattering, and I am aware of it. Am I different from that chattering? Right? Am I different? Or I am that chattering?
But can you be aware if you are the chattering?
What can I be aware?
If I'm speaking now, can I be aware while I'm speaking?
No, Tunki, I said, you go from. Listen, Tunki, are you aware that your mind is chattering? Conscious, aware.
Partially.
No, I'll just begin partially. All right. Are you aware that it's chattering? Then, is that chattering different from you who says, I am chattering? Are you different from your chatter? Are you different from your chatter?
To be really honest, I don't know actually. I don't know.
Okay, don't say you don't know. Are you different from your black hair? Are you different from your interest in aeroplanes? Are you different from the mathematics you are learning? Are you different from your family, from your vanity, from your thoughts, from your all the rest of it? Are you? Or are you all that? So, are you different?
I'm picking all that.
Huh? You are what?
In the course of living, I'm picking all that into me. I'm accumulating all that into me.
You are accumulating all that. Huh? So you are all that. If you accumulate all this, I am that. If I don't accumulate, I am not that.
But the thing is...
Let us stick to one thing, not one thing.
Wow.
Stick one thing at a time.
Why is it that I'm not completely convinced about this?
Tunki, I said, are you aware that you are chattering? How difficult this is, my Lord. If you ask me, are you aware that you are chattering? I said, either it is so or it is not so. I said to you, are you looking at that tree? When you point out, do look at that tree, or you don't look at it, or you do look at it. In the same way, is your mind chattering? What? Now, if you ask me, is your mind chattering? It is chattering now because it's talking. Right? It's talking in English because it has stored up English words. So it is chattering. When it is not talking, I say, I'm not chattering, I'm quiet. Can you say that? Or you still go on spinning? Tunki, try this. You go out for a walk, don't you? Going for a walk, just look at the trees, the birds. Don't name them. Don't say this is that, that is that. Just watch without a single movement of thought. Try it. Find out. Is it time, isn't it? 1 o'clock. It was proposed by one of the scientists that was here that I should meet you all, meet the students by myself and the staff by myself. I meet the staff. What do you think of that?
You mean individuals?
No.
Separately.
Huh?
You mean separately, the students separately and the staff separately?
Can we try it?
Huh?
Can we try it?
I don't know, I'm asking.
Well, yes, maybe we can just have a trial.
Huh?
We can have a trial a week or two and see what's on.
Could we do it once, Krishnaji?
For what purpose?
Yeah,
Why?
Huh?
Why? For what purpose?
I'll tell you why. Why do you ask that?
He's a scientist.
I want any suggestion. If somebody tells you to turn right here, you might want to know why they're telling you to turn, or.
Now wait a minute. Somebody suggests something. Why should you try it? I come around and say, see, shave all your hair. Hair. Huh? Or do this or do that. Would you do it? So you first listen and say whether he's an ass or a stupid person, or find out whether it's worthwhile doing. Would it make any difference to you if the staff was not here? Would you talk more freely? Complain more? Or would you be just the same as now? Not talk, just sit back and let the other fellow do all the talking.
Does a person know what they'll be like in a situation?
Huh?
Does a person know what they'll be like? I mean, can you ask somebody if they would just sit there?
I'm asking you. You may not. You may say, sorry, until the thing happens, I can't tell you.
Yes,
but I'm asking you.
Just seems like, if the staff are, they're my friends, I associate with them all the time, and I just seems like I don't feel like I talk any more freely.
You see,
if they're here or not here.
You see, you've got how many days? Another 10 days, or fortnight before the whole thing closes, the term closes. So let's carry on as we are for a while, for this next fortnight, and next time we meet, we'll try the other way. All right? Don't agree to anything, for God's sake.
See, somebody suggests something, and you think it's not harmless, and you might as well try it or not. But when you see it is harmless, then you don't try it. I don't know. That's the way how I.
No, look.
No, I'm talking about in general, not only this particular thing, but in general.
You see, I'll tell you something, Tunki. I've seen you all at mealtime, talks, playing. I've been watching you without your knowing me, without knowing that I was watching you. I'm rather good at watching. How you behave, how you sit, how you eat. I've been watching you a great deal. And I say to myself, I wonder what they will be like when they grow up. It will be in about 2 or 3 years' time or 5 years' time, what they will be like. Just like everybody else? Not that you shouldn't be like everybody else. If everybody is really intelligent, clear, sane, happy, then I understand. It's good to be like everybody, but they're not. They drink, smoke, quarrel, all the vulgarity that goes on. So I look at you and I say, my God, what's going to happen to them? Do they want to be intelligent? Do they want to change? Or do they just pass the time of day or their youth in sitting in a school, complaining, groaning, not wanting to learn this, and go out and... You follow? You understand what I'm talking about? So I say to myself, what will make you change? You won't change if I beat you. You beat me back. So what will make you change? What will make you extraordinarily intelligent, happy human beings? Not become cinema actresses or, all the rest of that stupid stuff. What will make you change? And it's our job to find out what will make you change, what will make you something different. I don't want to waste my mornings talking to you, or my life talking to you, or Mrs. Simmons and others wasting their life when you don't want to do these things. I go to school in India, several schools, and I ask the teachers, I say, aren't you wasting your life teaching to all those children who don't care a damn? You follow? Who don't care a pin what happens to them. They will be like everybody else. Get a job, quarrel, drink or smoke or sleep with half a dozen women or men. Just carry on. And you are wasting your time, your energy, all that on these people who don't care. And that's why I'm asking you, does it matter what you are now, what you are doing now, or just wait till the school is over and burst out? Vous avez compris, mon vieux? You see, I've lived in England a great deal, in France and Italy, quite a lot, much more, quite a lot, many years. Somehow, I've never been able to drink alcohol, beer. Not that I'm setting up as an example. God forbid, I'm not. But somehow it didn't appeal to me. Never smoked, never went to a nightclub. Never want to do things in a crowd. It may be my neuroticism, but somehow I feel out of it all. Because I see all that as kind of monstrous behavior. politics, hitting each other, And you are being educated here, and I say to myself, watching you, I was watching you the other day, yesterday, sunbathing, swimming. From my window, though it's very small, limited view, I see quite a lot. And I see this. And what? What are you going to be at the end of it all? If you are my son and daughter, I would say, my God, what is going to happen to them? Just like with Dick, Tom and Harry or Mrs. this or that. There are millions like that. Millions. So that's why we said, what will change you? What will make you wonderful beings, not just stupid?
Something which you said, which...
Okay. What were you saying?
Something which, what you're saying, something which...
Tunke, if you are my son, I would be very concerned what you are going to be, what you are. I would be tremendously concerned. Since you are here, I am tremendously concerned. And you say, oh, please, don't bother. Why should you be concerned?
No, I don't say
just a minute. Why should I be concerned?
No, I don't say
just a minute. Why should I be concerned? I'm doing what I think is right. I'm doing what pleases me. I want to be big man or short man or a beautiful actress or some blasted little idiotic thing. And I say as a father, as a friend, say, for God's sake, stop a minute and look. Look what's happening around you. It makes you shed tears. You better stop, don't you?